Good evening and welcome to RTÉ NewsNow. You are joining us here at the government buildings where we are expecting a statement from the Taoiseach very shortly. Of course, if you've not been living under a rock, you'll know that the Irish political sphere has been under a lot of stress recently, and certainly his government. We're going to be hearing a statement from him once again. The last time he made a statement, of course, following the Tri-Summit crisis, or Tri-Gate as it's been called now. But yes, we'll be hearing from him very shortly. It's the first time we'll be hearing from the Taoiseach since a brief period where a lot of people haven't been seeing him. And I believe we were actually mockingly sent a missing poster of him to our RTE office at Donnybrook for some really odd reason. I don't know who mailed that to us, but that was very unprofessional, and I'm condemning you. Either way, we'll be hearing from him very shortly. His government has been under a lot of stress with the resignation of his Chief of Staff and his Director of Legislative Affairs, as well as high-profile comments from high-profile ministers, such as his business minister, saying that he should consider resigning and that he is unfit to govern. Very heated comments coming from many people who are still in government, and those who have left Marion Street staff, and those who have left the government buildings. But hopefully we will be hearing from him over at his podium right outside the main complex of the government buildings, where he will hopefully do his best to reassure the Irish people and give his comments and give an update on whatever is going on in government. Once again, that should be happening very, very shortly. We are just waiting for him to walk out of the door, waiting for him to have, hopefully, papers in hand with a lovely speech written on it. As you can see here, this is where he will be making his speech in the coming moments. Again, if you are just joining us, Cillian Whittaker has returned from sudden leave from what we've been seeing, or rather not seeing. A lot of people have noted that he has been absent for quite some time and quite a few days. And this is, I guess, his first public appearance since then. He was not seen in the Dáil this weekend, instead with the Taoiseach Ciara O'Kearney filling his seat in the Dáil and performing the duties of Taoiseach in his absence. We do have some live scenes, though, of North Dublin here, of course. Lots of Irish flags, a copy of the Daily Star for some reason, as well as an alcoholic beverage. It seems that the people of North Dublin are undisturbed by the political chaos currently happening in Ireland. Very typical of North Dubliners. There is absolutely no surprise there. But once again, we'll be hearing from the Taoiseach. I believe we just had a heckler there in the background. We will be hearing from the Taoiseach. That person will be hearing from their Taoiseach, from the head of this government very shortly, to give us a statement, to give all of Ireland a statement on what has been going on in government, what's going to be happening going forwards. We have absolutely no idea what's going to be said here, possibly addressing the chaos that's been going on in government, perhaps the comments from certain ministers, perhaps trying to reunify the government's image, or it could be something entirely different. We do not know. We are waiting with bated breath as the Taoiseach will be joining us at the podium in just a moment. So we've got our eyes on the door here, on the podium, waiting for him to exit those doors. Oh, he is here. We are going to now go straight over to him and hear what he has to say. The Taoiseach, Cillian Whittaker of Ireland, speaking now.
Good evening. When I took office some time ago, I had just become the second Taoiseach to secure re-election. As I speak to you from Marion Street today, I'm so grateful for the mandate provided to me since taking office. We have made strides to build on our success in our courts, Irish enterprise, and of course our place on the world stage. And believe me, I have no doubt in my mind that Ireland is perhaps the most influential country on the world stage. We have perhaps the greatest economy on the globe, and justice is without a doubt served. However, in recent times, our politics have become deeply divided. And I find that as my tenure continues, these divisions only entrench themselves. And I'm sure each of you remained informed and knowledgeable on recent affairs, including a vote of confidence in my party leadership. It is on this topic I must inform the Irish people that following the loss of faith in my leadership, I will in fact be tendering my resignation to a Síolsa. I understand that this may be a disappointment to many, but I do have a message for those who want to hear it. As Taoiseach, I often was hesitant to get personal, hesitant to bring personality to the office, so it is only fitting I include these words in my short message to you. Lana Del Rey once said, "When you know, it's time to go." Ireland is such a great and fantastic country, and no matter what people say about me, the one consistent trait of mine is my ability to be receptive to people with different perspectives. And my cabinet, my caucus will tell you the same thing, that despite disagreements, I was lenient and patient with those who shared a different vision for this country. Unfortunately, this receptiveness was not something that was reciprocated. I'm honoured with what this country has given me. My time in this community has almost certainly not reached its end, but my time leading it has. It's time to pass the torch on. In spite of the harshness in which I must leave office, I will not rise to fight fire with fire. And I can guarantee that no matter who Labour elect as leader, they will be a strong and capable leader, and will be nominated in Leinster House tomorrow. Slán, agus gurb míle maithagat.
As we've just heard there, the Taoiseach, Cillian Whitaker, has just resigned there as Labour leader, as leader of the Labour Party, following a vote of no confidence in his leadership. He has just resigned. He'll be handing his resignation in as Taoiseach as well to Uitheachair as well. Now we are going to be expecting a change of government effectively there. We're going to be seeing a new Taoiseach be nominated to the Dáil in the coming week, a new leader of the Labour Party, and potentially a new government forming. Quite the remarkable announcement there. We are about to go over to one of our correspondents over at our studio in Donnybrook, who has also been watching this. Our lovely expert on politics and current affairs, Sharon, to hear what her thoughts are on what we've just heard. Sharon, are you with us?
Hello, is this working? Can you hear me?
Yes, hi Sharon.
Troubles with the app there.
You got any thoughts on what the Taoiseach's just said, Sharon?
Well, he came up there and he spoke, and there's some people who wouldn't do that now, I tell you that. But yeah, fair play to him. Mm-hmm. Also, who the fuck is Lana Del Rey?
She is a singer, Sharon. She's a famous singer.
Clearly not famous enough.
Thank you very much, Sharon. We'll leave you alone for just a few minutes. We'll possibly come back to you. For those just tuning in, again, the Taoiseach and leader of the Labour Party, Cillian Whitaker, has just announced his resignation. He'll be handing in his resignation as Taoiseach to Uitheachair Bíreach. He probably has already handed it in, knowing him, but he will be resigning from the office of Taoiseach. And we are going to be expecting a leadership competition within the Labour Party. We're going to be expecting a new Labour leader to, from what it looks like, take up the reins of government. As it stands, Sinn Féin and the Labour Party in this coalition government hold a majority of the seats in the Dáil. If we are expecting Sinn Féin to stay in that coalition government, that means whoever becomes leader of the Labour Party, and if they are successfully nominated to the Dáil Éireann and obviously form a government and get their seals, we should be expecting the coalition to remain. We're hopefully going to get a statement shortly from the leader of Sinn Féin, who I believe one of our correspondents has questioned over in the building. And we do actually have the statement here that we will read out. The leader of Sinn Féin is deeply upset over the Taoiseach's resignation. She is hoping for a quick leadership election so we can provide Ireland a new Taoiseach. I would like to thank him for his amazing service to our country. Seems to be an indication that Sinn Féin are not going to be pulling out anytime soon. of their agreement with the Labour Party. It seems things will be remaining fairly stable on that front, but what is now still up in the air is who will become leader of the Labour Party and thus Ireland's next Taoiseach in the coming days. There are a few candidates that we could possibly predict over here at RTÉ, looking at the political situation. There are, of course, a number of people who we will hopefully show on your screen very shortly. Of course, this is not a confirmed list, and this is more of a prediction and more of a predicting who might volunteer, put the name forward for the position of leader of the Labour Party. But, excuse me, we will hopefully get the names up in just a second. Some names that I believe are on people's sort of bingo cards is someone like Lewis Dougherty, who is, of course, the current Minister of Foreign Affairs. There is quite, from what we do here, through back channels and so forth, quite a popular figure within the Labour Party, or at least someone who could potentially become the next party leader. Kamala, despite having ruled out that she would run for leader of the Labour Party and would ideally support another candidate, is still a possible, emphasis on the word possible, candidate for the leadership should she ever go for it. Someone who received a lot of support when she called out the Taoiseach during a session or during a debate in the Dáil. Someone who definitely has their own base within the Labour Party, and someone who could, if they wanted, put themselves forward for the leadership. And a name that I guess not many people will expect, Dylan Hello, as well. I think we forgot the numbers, but that's my fault. I hate usernames with numbers, which is why I personally, as a Labour Party member, wouldn't vote for Dylan. I hate numbers. I'm an anti-numeracy Chad, of course. But jokes aside, Dylan, as someone who definitely defended the Taoiseach quite a bit and called out the resignation of the Chief of Staff of Marion Street, Thomas Whitaker, and someone who's very valiantly defended this government in public channels, is another potential, emphasis on potential, of course, candidate for the leadership. There could be many others, and there could be absolutely anyone could be leader in the next few days. Anyone could. I could be leader if I really wanted to, but I enjoy broadcasting, so absolutely not. In fact, Sharon could be Labour Party leader, which is why we're going to go straight back over to Sharon. Sharon, despite the fact it would violate your employment at RTÉ and with the Department of Justice, would you run?
Of course I would. This country needs to be ran by a woman who has the potential to bring great things to this country, and I think that's me. I think I'll be running this in a week or so. So you bet your ass. Keep an eye out. You'll be seeing me with that Taoiseach seal on the Word document there in a while. Honest to God.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Sharon. I just want to get your reaction to something here, and also to remind our viewers. The Taoiseach noted that it was a vote of no confidence within his party that, I guess, has sort of ended his tenure here as Taoiseach and has ultimately brought him down here. Can we get your reaction to that real quick?
What's about no confidence?
It's where people don't have confidence in their leader. They vote on whether or not they have confidence or not. That's what it is, Sharon.
Well, that's a bit mean, isn't it? It's a bit cruel.
Thank you very much for your analysis, Sharon. We'll go back to you hopefully very shortly, but if I do remember correctly, I think it's time for you to take your medication. So I think you should go and do that.
Medication? I'm not on any.
Thank you very much, Sharon. HSE says otherwise. Once again, if you are only just joining us now here on RTÉ NewsNow, which has been very, very happily leads to us, that brand, because we know it means a lot to a lot of people, including myself. The Taoiseach, Cillian Whitaker, has resigned from his position. He has resigned as the leader of the Labour Party. He has effectively been removed by a vote of no confidence within his party, meaning that a majority of Labour Party affiliated members of the Dáil and Seanad, or the Oireachtas in general, have voted that they are not confident in his continued leadership, and as a result, his position as Taoiseach has become untenable. He has handed in his resignation to Ard Uachtaráin, and we are now to expect a leadership election within the Labour Party in the coming days. Details will be released over the coming days, and as it is organised by the Electoral Commission and the Labour Party chairman. Going over to other headlines real quick to accompany this and to fill dead air, we can also say that in other news, the government's justice and judicial legislation has been stalled in the Seanad just yesterday. Many of Minister Kamala P. Besessa's legislation and her bills have been delayed in the chamber following criticism from senators. I know that in a private comment that she had with me that she has many more bills on the way, so we might need to expect a bit of a legislative traffic jam that's probably going to start developing in the Seanad. Anyway, back to being professional. In other news, of course, preceding the Taoiseach's resignation, the Chief of Staff of Marion Street, Thomas Whitaker, and the Director of Legislative Affairs of Marion Street, Valerist Whitaker, resigned from their positions a few days ago, citing that Taoiseach was unfit to govern. Definitely a factor in his statements today. Also in the news, sports-wise, Dundalk have apparently completely collapsed. Now, I personally have no idea why, and I haven't really investigated the problem, but from what I can tell, a lot of people were angry, and a lot of people got up and left, and got banned as well from the League of Ireland and stuff like that. So, whoopsie daisy. Oh wait, no, that's not the right phrase to use there, is it? I think the fair phrase would be to use womp womp. Anyway, back onto the main headline though. Once again, Taoiseach has resigned. We are being asked if we can interview the Taoiseach via text in-game, meaning that we won't be able to hear her, but we could probably pan the camera over to her and see if she actually wants to talk and type through the screen, but I really doubt we're going to be able to do that, and I also cannot be bothered, so let's not worry about that for now. Anyway, let's go back over to Sharon real quick, because I have another question to ask Sharon, who is, of course, in our Donnybrook studio. Sharon, do you have any predictions on who's going to be Taoiseach next?
Well, I don't think it's my place to be making those unnecessary predictions. I'll be doing that in the Boyle Sports betting office. That's where I'll be going. But the thing is, we just got to let these things happen. Right, the weather comes and the weather goes. This is just another storm, alright?
Mm-hmm. And Sharon, obviously you mentioned you'd happily run and you'd like to see a woman as Taoiseach. Does that mean you're endorsing a potential run from someone like Kamala, possibly, or Ingrid?
No. Me and me only.
Just you. Okay. Hold on, just doing something here. I'm having to quietly rage at someone on Twitter here on my mobile device. Anyway, thank you very much, Sharon, for giving us your comments.
To handle it. I'll go on there, I'll handle it.
Yeah, thank you very...
Tell them I'm on the way. They'll leave you alone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sharon.
Alright, no problem, love.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, thank you very much, Sharon. We will hopefully be getting comments from members of the Oireachtas, maybe members from the Labour Party and members of Ireland's political sphere and political establishment shortly to see what their reactions are to the Taoiseach's resignation. Hopefully we will have some news coming in. It is that time of the evening where a lot of people like to do a bunch of political things. So we will hopefully have some more news to bring very shortly, perhaps declarations of intent to run. This could be a very quick news day depending on how the next hour goes. But in the meantime, once again, a quick reminder for those who, again, have only just tuned into this, if that is even possible at this point. The Taoiseach, Cillian Whitaker, has resigned his position. leadership election within his Labour Party is to be expected in the coming days. A new Taoiseach will be seen, hopefully, by next week. A very dramatic night, and a night that will rock the foundations of Irish politics to come for possibly the next few months. An earthquake and a thunder, a roar that might be heard for many, many weeks to come. But once again, we will hopefully be hearing comments from members of the Oireachtas and their comments. We'll hopefully have that in just a second. What we will also do is we will hopefully later on, if we need to fill dead air, speak to the Taoiseach. We have a mobile phone here, and we will just straight up ring his mobile phone. It doesn't matter if he's meeting the president, he's going to pick up. And we'll see if he has anything else, any exclusives to tell us. Perhaps announce that he's writing an autobiography after this, where he's going to blame woke liberals for this. I know I would be doing that, so just do it, Killian. I encourage it. Well, we do actually have a statement coming in here. Once again, this is all coming in just now. We have a statement from, I believe, the Minister of State for Defence. I'm just trying to remember people's cabinet positions, and I'm very bad at doing that. But we have a comment here from Anglo Fusilier, Fusilier. I cannot say his name, and I apologise for that on air. But we do have a statement from him here, and we will paraphrase. He has said that as a cabinet minister, he is deeply saddened by the resignation of the Taoiseach, but he is not surprised. He has said, furthermore, that the Taoiseach has served Ireland with honour and distinction, and his leadership will be greatly missed. While we respect his decision to step down, we must continue to work together as a government to address the many challenges facing our nation. We must remain focused on the needs of our people and work tirelessly to ensure that their interests are always put first. Once again, that is a comment from one of the government ministers, Anglo Fusilier. I think I've just said 3 different pronunciations of his name there, but Anglo giving us a comment there, his thoughts on the Taoiseach's resignation. I'm just trying to see if we have any more news. We do have some reports coming in that there's talk in Marion Street between staff, especially from Sinn Féin. It seems here that there's talk of Ciara being nominated as Taoiseach instead of the leader of the Labour Party, which would certainly be an oddity in Irish governmental politics to see the junior partner of a coalition nominated by a larger party. But that is, of course, unconfirmed reports, and right now amounts only to rumour. It would certainly be a very curious development of tonight's events, though, to see the leader of Sinn Féin, the junior partner in this coalition, nominated to become Taoiseach. And if that nomination were to pass, that means that the party junior to the senior party, which is, of course, the Labour Party, as they have more seats, would become Taoiseach, which would be, again, an oddity. We will hopefully be getting a statement, especially from people who are rumoured to run for leader of the Labour Party, people like Lewis, people like Kamla, Dylan, Ingrid, maybe. Again, these are just us throwing out names here. They might not have any intentions at all, but anything can happen, and it only takes one brave person to go for it and get it. But we do have a statement coming in, hopefully, from one of them in just a moment. We, of course, must verify the identity of these people and make sure that they are actually who they say they are. We do have pictures also arriving that there are apparently protesters breaking into the studio on roof. I don't know whether or not that photo is at the government buildings or at Donnybrook, but whatever the case, it does seem we could be in for a night of civil demonstrations, or perhaps uncivil demonstrations and riots, depending on what happens in the coming hours of tonight. We do have footage there of people breaking onto the roof. They're anti-deep state protesters. we at RTE are, of course, obliged to say that there is, of course, no deep state affiliations within Ireland's state broadcaster, and that we are a completely independent broadcaster providing the best quality news Ireland can be provided with. That is a lot of words to say in one sentence, or in one breath, rather. But we are hopefully, one thing I think a lot of people, especially behind the camera, are wanting to see is a reaction from people opposed to the Labour Party, reactions from especially opposition leaders, opposition figures, people like Diarmuid O'Donovan, leader of the opposition and leader of Fianna Fáil, James Aitken, leader of Fine Gael, Facilio Quinley, a major figure in the Social Democrats, and now the party's chairman. A lot of people want to, I think, hear the opinions of people sitting opposite the government, see what they have to say on all of this. We do have a statement here coming in from the business minister, Dayuki, who I believe was reported, and we can report, saying that the Taoiseach should resign in a statement to one of Ireland's media companies. Can't remember which one it was. It was like Telegraph, maybe? No, not Telegraph. The other one. Guardian. Can't remember. But they have told us that they believe that the conjoined twins of Ireland are the most fit for the position of Taoiseach. Quite an odd endorsement there from the Sinn Féin Minister for Business, Enterprise and Sport. But we must say, of course, as a disclaimer, that there are no conjoined twins that currently sit within the Dáil Éireann on behalf of the Labour Party. So that is not possible. Again, if you are just joining us, the Taoiseach has resigned. I don't think I need to say that anymore, because if you have tuned into this, you more than likely know that. But yes, moving on once again, we will hopefully be getting a comment again from members of the Irish political sphere, political establishment, members of the government, members of the opposition, members of Sinn Féin, the Labour Party, and other political parties that sit within the Dáil. We will hopefully be hearing comments from them, getting their live reactions, and seeing if we are going to get a potential leadership declaration tonight, which would certainly be quite surprising if that was to happen. We have here a video that we have had submitted of a live reaction from I guess an activist group called Dublin Against Killian, a very popular North Dublin based activist group that protest against the Labour Sinn Féin government. We will be playing it out to see what they have published in light of the Taoiseach's resignation. Yes, we will hopefully get that in just a minute. We must, of course, make sure that we're not going to be hearing a lot of hogwash here and end up in a Call of Duty lobby with this video. So we will have this again. It is a video from Dublin Against Killian, an activist group, a grassroots group based in North Dublin that is anti-government, anti-Labour, and anti-Killian Whitaker. But we do have the video here. It appears to be showing that North Dublin is in celebration at the Taoiseach's resignation. At least that seems to be the message that it is conveying to us here at the studio. Quite a strong and bold political statement from Dublin Against Killian. Certainly a lot to unpack here. Quite a lot of effort put into such a rapid publication by the activist organisation. But yes, that is the reaction we are getting from North Dublin, it seems. Once again, nothing spectacular, just a normal day up there. I think, hold on, we're just trying to verify news that we've got coming in here. We are just trying to make sure that this is correct. We obviously do not want this to be incorrect. We do not want to spread fake news. We're not Talk TV. I don't think I'm allowed to get away with that. I have to retract that comment, or the press council will be after me for a third time. But yes, we are going to verify the breaking news that we are getting. So while our team verify the news, we will continue. We do have word that Sharon, our correspondent over at the studio, has actually taken a bus from Donnybrook to North Dublin, or at least is on a bus in North Dublin to see what the hell is going on. We're going to quickly go over to Sharon to see how such a treacherous journey is going in light of the Taoiseach's resignation. Sharon, are you with us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, how are you? I'm here. I'm actually in Drumcondra. I'm after just meeting with my uncle. He's a lovely fella. Anyway, and I've just been on the streets, and there is a good few people out, to be fair. It's a lot more than a Sunday night, as it were. And they're not all drunk, which is definitely something new. But I was asking them why they're out here and all that, and they were saying it's because of this fella who resigned. I don't know what they're on about, to be fair. Something happened or something, I don't know. Maybe you should be reporting on that. But anyway, they're all a bit mad, they're all a bit pissed, and they're all a bit happy as well. I was offered a Heineken, actually. Yeah, give us it there. Yeah. Lovely, all right, thanks. All right there, thanks, love, yeah.
Are you all right there, Sharon?
Yeah, no, just, yeah. Your photo, yeah, grand, yeah. Sorry, just, I'm a bit famous, actually.
Right, we have actually got the breaking news.
Say cheese.
Sorry, we are going to have to cut away from you now, Sharon. Good luck with your visit to family there. We are going to quickly cut to this breaking news that we are getting. We have just heard a statement from Kamla P. Besessa, the Minister for Justice and Equality. We will we'll have it possibly on the screen after it's read out because it'll take too long. But we have the statement here, and I will paraphrase here, of course. The Minister for Justice and Equality, Kamla, writes, "While I have no ill will towards the Taoiseach, I welcome his resignation and thank him for his service to our great republic." She continues, "Over the last few weeks, it's become clear to the caucus that the party was unable to continue as if nothing had happened if we wanted to maintain our chances at remaining in government to continue our good work in the name of the Irish people. Good governance requires an instinct of knowing when to step aside and allow others to lead. The Taoiseach has exercised this instinct. I will not contest the leadership of the Labour Party at this time, but I will throw my full support behind the Minister of Foreign Affairs should he decide to put his name forward. The coalition will continue, and we will continue to move Ireland forwards." That is, once again, a statement from the Minister for Justice and Equality, Kamla P. Besessa, who has just sent that in right now to us at RTE. We will hope maybe have a graphic for it on the screen. We will hopefully have that soon for us. But we do have another bit of breaking news here that, in fact, one of our not associate companies, one of our the companies that we are friends with over at IETV have actually signed on the Taoiseach, who has just resigned tonight. This is breaking news if I've ever seen it. It appears that IETV, who RTE are great partners with, have signed on the now resigned Taoiseach, Cillian Whitaker. I guess we are now to expect him to do shows and broadcasts for IETV. This is quite a turn of events. We must assume that they must have negotiated this while he was still in office. Perhaps this is the reason why we have photographs of IETV officials walking into Marion Street constantly, but, you know, who cares? So this is, again, breaking news that we're seeing here, that the Taoiseach has found a new source of income after resigning as Taoiseach. I guess the wage as a TD is just not enough in today's economy. I guess you do have to just get a second job in the broadcasting world to survive now as a TD. Once again, though, the Minister for Justice and Equality, Kamla P. Besessa, has... Oh, hold on. We've got another bit of news, I think, coming in very shortly, or we have something in the works, but yeah. So, sorry, we're just listening into everything we're hearing now. Lots of news coming in. We have lots of commentators talking over one another. But we are hearing, we did just hear, rather, not hearing, we just heard the Minister for Justice and Equality, Kamla P. Besessa, again give a statement to RTE to clear up a few, to clear up the air regarding a potential leadership bid, and clear up the air in regards to the Taoiseach's resignation. We have just seen that she, of course, has said that she will not personally seek out the leadership of the Labour Party. She will instead be endorsing Lewis Dougherty, who is, of course, the current Minister for Foreign Affairs, if he goes for it. So we have just heard about that. We are now going to quickly phone the Taoiseach, actually, because knowing that he is now going to be working at IETV, we can hopefully get a moment to speak with him now that his schedule is not going to be that full. So we're going to quickly call him up here. We're going to see if he's available. So just let's ring real quick. Mr. Taoiseach, are you there? Sorry, not Mr. Taoiseach. Mr. Gon.
Former Taoiseach. He's here. He's here.
Yes, hi, Gillian. So, how are you feeling after all that?
Ooh. Okay. Well, I feel like, how am I feeling after being practically forced out here by close allies? I feel fantastic. I've never felt better, Dean. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I felt that cut like a knife, that statement. As you
It
just
did,
said,
Yeah.
you have
The
just
Lana
said
lyric.
there,
The
not
Lana
a
lyric
great
really
day.
signified it.
Yeah,
Not
not
a
a
great
great
day,
day,
no.
of course. You have just said that you were essentially backstabbed by your colleagues. Can you give us a bit more detail on how that all went down? I know you've not been seen in public for very long, but how have you been managing all of this?
Right. Well, first of all, there was a brief absence, obviously. I didn't anticipate for such a brief absence to promulgate a really bad series of events. But I wouldn't call it backstabbing, no. I mean, like I said in the statement, right, this is something I really want to emphasize as I leave office. I have been so receptive to my cabinet, and I'm sure they'll tell you this if you ask them. I've been so lenient, I've been so patient, I've had a real friendliness, an atmosphere of accepting in my government. You know, you can criticize me to my face, and I'm willing to take it from my ministers. That's something I think I want people to know. This is not an event where I've spoken to my ministers and there's been infighting and I've just kind of exploded out of office. No, and this vote of confidence, that this is not backstabbing. You know, this is not politics as usual in Labour. It's a moment where these instruments within the party are being used to their potential, right? When a vote of confidence is on the table, my TDs are going to vote how they feel, and I accept that. I accept that. So no, I wouldn't call it backstabbing. I just think, obviously, I don't agree with being moved out of office, but if that's what my TDs want, that's what they deserve to get.
Yeah, I think you're definitely taking this a lot better than I think a lot of people would have thought. I don't know. Usually, Taoiseach and party leaders are ready to sort of get out the butcher's knife and sort of cut away at everything that led to their downfall. But a very respectful stance nonetheless.
Yeah.
But yes, a follow-up question to that I have. Obviously,
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not you'll be staying in politics, maybe not in the Oireachtas, but as sort of a party advisor or anything like that. What is your future in the Labour Party, and will you be endorsing anyone in particular to succeed you?
Right. Well, obviously, no one has declared their run yet. I'm not going to endorse anyone. I think, despite what people say, I think there are some very capable people in my party, and I'm looking forward to see who they produce as the next leader of their movement. Again, I don't have a pinpointed future. This is something I've had since I've entered politics, right? Since 3 years ago, I first became a TD in this community. I have always had really close allies across party boundaries, right? I found myself to be sometimes taking the advice of people like Diarmuid O'Donovan, not on important issues, but on little things like your attitude to governing. James Akeson, I literally used to be a minister for him. We get on great sometimes, and of course, there's always going to be political point scoring there, but I've always had close allies across party lines. And Ciara, my Taoiseach, there's absolutely always been a friendship there to have. So I don't see myself being as partisan as I leave office as I used to be as Taoiseach. In terms of my future, I think I think that's kind of it in terms of politics. I led this country. I'm so proud of what I did. I'm I'm always open to give advice to people who lead this country in the future. I don't see myself staying as a TD. I I don't think a leader who was voted out of confidence has the authority to, let's say, re-enter politics. But I'm there if party leaders need me.
Hmm. In the sort of final days of your tenure here, obviously your chief of staff Thomas Whitaker and your director of legislative affairs Valerist Whitaker resigned. In quite a scathing manner, they declared you unfit to govern. They definitely attacked the cabinet quite a bit. I know they did say that you are of a good character, and they've said that many times. It wasn't a personal attack; it was solely directed at your government and your politics.
Yeah.
Could you give us any details on sort of the fallout, I guess, from members of your own dynasty? Because you are a Whitaker, them two are also Whitakers. Could you give us any details on that?
Right. Well, my surname is a proud characteristic of mine that I'm sure most people don't like to hear about, but I rant to them about my surname regardless. But no, I people will take this at face value and they'll think that there's a rift, which perhaps there is. But I think my respect for those who share my surname will never be diminished. I find Valorous to be someone who speaks from his conscience, someone who I have great respect for. And his opinion on my government and my leadership, that's something that's not going to change simply because it went negative, I'm going to be consistent with my respect to people like Valorous. People like Tom, obviously, who play an instrumental role in this community, perhaps not so much anymore, but still a figure to be, I think, worth valuing, a figure who's worth respect. That's not going to change simply because they're critiquing me. I have the utmost of respect for these people, and like my cabinet, that I don't think their opinions should devalue that respect. I have serious I hold them in high esteem.
Mm-hmm. And obviously you've signed I guess a contract, we can call it, with IETV. Can you tell us any of the specifics? What are you going to be doing in broadcasting?
Well, IETV, right? Yeah, Truth Live, Truth. I nearly said
Truth Live.
I nearly said Truth Social there for a second. Well, I love IETV because they have a history of hiring the most homosexual people, and they're very accepting They're very accepting. I shouldn't laugh of the LGBTQ plus community, particularly my co-host Nicholas, who is known to be a bit zesty, so to speak. That's why I signed with IETV. Their history of wide accepting. But on a serious note, IETV has been a passion of mine, I think, since my first term. Even I remember Dean perhaps wondering why I was being streamed, in the middle of the week on a talk show with Nicholas Crawshaw, but then moving past it quickly, not wanting to hear the answers. But no, ITV, it's fun, as much as I don't want to be involved in politics, I don't want to be in this entrenched, divisive side of Ireland. I want to be there to offer my commentary, and particularly with people like Nicholas who are educated on Irish history. That's an opportunity for great discussion and discourse, So I think people should listen to that as well. Me and Nicholas, we have some very strange and borderline illegal conversations. So that's something worth listening to.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Killian. I think that's all we'll need to hear from tonight.
Yeah.
Please make sure that your Truth Live broadcasts don't end up crashing 5 times. That would probably be better this time round.
Dan is going to interrupt here, but this is his fault. He's a pavo, I should say. We're
gonna have to cut you off. Actually, we are being instructed to cut you off. So we're hanging up on you now. Goodbye. Take care. He's been shot. He's been shot. Anyway, that has of course been Killian Whitaker, the former now Taoiseach of Ireland. I think he will still be acting in a caretaker manner for about a week. In that position, of course, he won't really be able to do anything. Caretaker Taoiseach don't really have that much power, at least in conventionally they do not. But we will hopefully be getting a few statements again from members of the political establishment. Yes, we do have again here the statements we were given by again the Minister for Justice and Equality, Kamala P. Besessa, who told us that she does not intend to go for the leadership herself. She will instead endorse the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Lewis Dougherty, if he so chooses to put his name forward for the Labour leadership. Again, we have the statement here from the Minister for Justice and Equality, someone who was very critical of the Taoiseach about a week or so ago now. Someone who called out the Taoiseach and said that the government, said that he wasn't being Taoiseach properly. Let's just call it that. I can't remember the exact quote, but that the Taoiseach had not acted very good. So, and of course said that that, among many other things, much to the celebration of members on the opposition, and of course, not so much to the celebration of the Taoiseach and the Taoiseach, who was also fired at by the Minister for Justice. We have another statement coming in here very, very shortly. Sorry, we're just quickly confirming it. I'm getting it through the earpiece here. It's just coming in. Yes, we do have a statement here from the leader of the Social Democrats. We're just trying to verify it now. It's just taking a moment to, of course, verify all of this with our people at the television centre to verify the statement and, of course, get it all sorted. But we do have a statement here. We can confirm it now. That this is a statement from the Social Democrat leader, Brian O'Kearney, who has, and we will, of course, read through this very quickly, and we will have it on the screen soon, very soon. He has told us here at RTÉ the following. On a personal level, I wish to thank Killian for his duty and service to Ireland. I know he loved the community deeply, and I wish him all the best in the future. However, the recent events have shown to Irelanders that Labour is unfit to provide the strong, stable government required in these unprecedented times. He continues, the Social Democrats provide a strong alternative with an experienced group of dedicated members ready to take the torch of government and bring about a common sense government that will deliver for the people of Ireland. Again, that is a statement from the leader of the Social Democrats, Brian O'Kearney, who is telling us there that he is thanking Killian for his service, but again, saying a line that is very popular amongst the opposition right now for very obvious reasons, that Labour is unfit to govern and that a change of government is needed. An alternative is needed, and he's saying the Social Democrats will provide that. Again, a statement from the Social Democrats leader. We have, again here, another statement, I think, coming in on top of that, a very short one, from the leader of the Seanad on behalf of the government, Ingrid, who has told us that she thinks tonight Killian made a wise choice resigning. Approval of him has been dropping, and I think once the cards are dealt, you can't change them. He was in a losing battle, and I think he kept a clear, level head tonight. I still respect Killian as a person greatly, but I believe he has made the right choice tonight. Again, that is a statement from the leader of the Seanad, Ingrid Colbert, someone who, of course, is the government minister responsible for representing the government's interests in the upper chamber. Again, we'll have possibly both of these statements appear on the screen to obviously be quoted from, and God knows whatever use by the many organisations in our country. Right, sorry. We're just, again, listening in to our earpiece once again. This is, of course, the call where we must put out that if you are a member of the government, a member of the opposition, a member of the Oireachtas, or a member of any political party that has a statement to give to us over at RTÉ, please do send them to Dean at 9760. The numbers are after the hashtag, and we will be able to, put them on the screen or read them out and whatnot. Get your reactions to tonight's events, tonight's news, and tonight's landmark change where we have again seen a Taoiseach resign from his position, a government now possibly about to experience a very big change at the top. Again, we have the statement here from Brian O'Kearney, the Social Democrats leader, on the screen once again, thanking Killian and stating that the Social Democrats are the alternative to Labour's to Labour's inability to govern. Just paraphrasing there, but delivering a very strong message there on behalf of his political party, the Social Democrats, as its party leader. Once again, we will be taking in more statements as the night goes on. Of course, we're not going to be here all night. If it starts getting slow news, we will hopefully be able to go to bed without worrying about a complete collapse of social order within our country. But moving on. Again, if you are just joining us, the Taoiseach, Killian Whitaker, has resigned from his position as Labour Party leader and has handed in his resignation as Taoiseach to An Uachtaráin. He has told us that this is following a vote of no confidence within the Labour Party itself, meaning that members of the Labour Party Oireachtas sort of body have essentially voted that they do not have confidence in his leadership of the party anymore, and being removed as party leader means that he can no longer serve as Taoiseach, essentially by proxy. Whereas it probably would be possible to serve as Taoiseach without being a party leader, that would probably break a few conventions and possibly the Constitution, although do not quote me on that, and please, Press Council, don't come after me for saying that. But yes, continuing on, we shall go over very quickly the headlines that we've had over the past week. Once again, in the Shannon, government justice legislation has faced delays after members of the Senate voted to delay and voted against government plans to reform the Department for Justice and Equality. Namely, the Shannon voted against the juries bill, which would have established juries as well as established. Actually, did they vote against the juries bill? God, this is what happens when you don't remember the names of the bills. Yeah, Lord. Anyway, we'll quickly double check that before we spread misinformation to the people of Ireland, as that is a very bad thing to do. But yes, we can double check that it was the juries bill, the Oireachtas interference with pending court cases bill, as well as the intellectual property bill and the offences against the person amendment bill that were presented to the Shannon, I believe, by the government, that were, of course, voted down by the Shannon just yesterday evening for a number of reasons. One of them raised by Senator Valorist, one of the main issues being the constitutionality of some of the pieces of legislation. But that is the news we can bring from the Shannon. In other news, we of course saw earlier in the week the Chief of Staff and the Director of Legislative Affairs at Merrion Street, Thomas Whitaker and Valorist respectively, resigned their positions, attacking the government for being unfit to govern, and a few leaked screenshots accompanying their resignation. We, of course, do not know who the source is or where it came from, but screenshots mostly are focused on government disagreements and instability from within Merrion Street. We do have some breaking news coming in before we potentially see ourselves go off for the evening. We are receiving a lot of reports from within Sinn Féin, of course, one of the coalition partners within this government, that Sinn Féin are demanding an extra ministerial position within the coalition. We expect, of course, that they will pull out if they do not receive that additional ministerial post, although that is all we have been told. We also had some news earlier in the evening that Ciara O'Kearney, the leader of Sinn Féin, was being touted as a potential replacement and successor to Killian as Taoiseach, the junior party leader leading the government overall, which would certainly be an anomaly in Irish politics, although is very much possible with Labour's agreement. We did hear that earlier in the evening. And we also had some other news as well, which did not make it through earlier, that the Taoiseach and leader of Sinn Féin, Ciara, has met with her party officials to discuss Sinn Féin getting more ministerial posts. So we do have that news. We do have a lot of conversations happening within Sinn Féin following the Taoiseach's resignation. Quite a lot to unpack there. Quite a lot to analyze, and quite a few questions as well alongside that, like what position they were going to be getting, and could Ciara be the next Taoiseach? Of course, we don't have an answer to any of that yet. Again, and a lot of this is, of course, rumour as well, and just reports coming in from people very close to the Taoiseach and Sinn Féin leader. Again, as the night is drawing to a close here, as it stands, no member of the Labour Party side of the government, and no one who's part of their side, the Oireachtas, has announced a bid to become Labour Party leader. We've not seen a declaration anywhere. We have, of course, seen Kamla, the Minister for Justice and Equality, announcing her support for Lewis Dougherty, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, should he choose to go for the leadership. We've not heard any confirmation on whether or not he will actually run or not. It is still up in the air who the successor to Cillian Whitaker, who it's going to be. We have absolutely no idea. And we are expecting, of course, a Taoiseach to be elected by next week. We are expecting a Taoiseach to be presented to the Dáil, to be nominated, to be confirmed, and to receive their seal by next week, or at least later on next week, of course. We, of course, don't know whether or not that will be possible. We don't know whether or not we're going to be having a Labour leader yet, because we've had no declarations. Once again, no declarations about who's going to be running for Labour leader. No announcements of candidacy, and no announcements of intention to be a candidate. But yes, in general, the facts are this. The Taoiseach, Cillian Whitaker, has resigned his position as Taoiseach of Ireland and as Labour Party leader. He has been removed by a vote of no confidence within his party. We, of course, don't know the results of that vote of no confidence. We do not have that on hand. It is something he did mention during his speech, though, that he was removed by a vote of no confidence, or at least it was tabled, and he has subsequently resigned following that vote. Here we are again. It's still very much up in the air whether or not we're going to be knowing who the successor is at this point. There is no one who has put their head in the ring, and there is no one yet who has done that. Before we close this broadcast, we will again go over a few headlines once again before we bring this broadcast to a close. So we are going to quickly go over some headlines now. Other than the fact that the Taoiseach has resigned, we have a rumour that Ciara O'Kearney, leader of Sinn Féin and current Taoiseach, will be putting herself forward as Taoiseach with the support of Labour, should they agree. Again, rumour and something that has not been confirmed, but something that has certainly been spoken about. We do have some news for the week ahead, and weather-wise and sport-wise. Weather-wise, it is very much a blustery night with rain around the northwest, highs of 9 to lows of 3. I'm not the weather reporter, but that doesn't sound like a great night for anyone in Ireland, and certainly not for the people of North Dublin, who appear to be very angry at today's news, or rather in celebration at tonight's news, although certainly voicing it angrily in the streets. In the sporting world, we did have the quarter-final of the RXME FAI Cup. where Drogheda United won 12 goals against Shelbourne's 2. Again, 12-2 there. Drogheda 12, Shelbourne 2. Quite a victory there for the boys at Drogheda. The qualified teams, therefore, are the Shamrock Rovers, Drogheda United, Wexford, and UCD AFC. They have gone through and they will be battling it out in the semi-finals. Those dates are yet to be confirmed. Before we bring this broadcast to the end, we would like to quickly say that this has been a RTÉ NewsNow broadcast, a trademark leased to us by NewsNow Limited. Once again, Ireland has lost a Taoiseach, but Ireland will be getting a new one soon enough. Gillian Whittaker has resigned as Labour leader, and a new one will be elected soon enough. The question is who, the question is when, and the question is why, although I think we all know why. This has been RTÉ NewsNow. I have been your presenter this evening, Deegan O'Connor. And this has been, once again, RTÉ NewsNow. I wish you all good night, and I bid you all farewell.